Hello everybody, welcome back to Divinity Original Sin 2 Conflux mod part 75. Yeah, streamed again today, had no success with it. It keeps resetting. Story mode, which is in fact classic mode on Conflux, I do believe.
I understand. Your
I'm sorry.
There we go. Right, how shall we do this? Oh, that's a strange start. Okay. He normally completely wipes out our magic armour, but we've got a bit of a break there, I think.
Are you feeling poorly, Dallas? Good. I call on the god.
How? What?
Friedemann, you left the... Kill him! Do shut up, you tedious buffoon. And don't look so surprised.
This is not the time.
Too late, you mouldering, blight-stained pigs. Grant me power, my...
Maybe a little bit better. Maybe. Just let me check it. Yeah, well, okay.
The God King hears my... He sends... Come to your father. Come to the Source King.
Go on, go to breakfast. That's a boy.
Glory is mine. I'm ready.
What? Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. returns. Doomed.
I'll yield to none.
I'm ready. I'll yield to none.
Okay. Oh, just leveled up. Oh, he's dead.
Lucian struggles to rise, but the weight of his own pain leaves him to gravity's mercy.
My time is done. But your source burns so bright I'm all but blinded by it. Be wise and true, Godwoken. I am no hero, but wisdom and truth. These are values I always believed in.
Dallis groans in pain.
I have failed. The future of all that is rests on your shoulders.
Here we stand, once more on the cusp of divinity. But this all my life has been a lead-up to this. To be the King of Kings, God of Gods. I will not say it was in vain, but I will say it was vanity. If I were to chance upon my throne right now, I would sit down beside it, cast my glance to the horizon, and think of worthier things. I'd think of Sadher, my great love. I'd think of my children, their joyous dance through fiery skies. And of course, I'd think of you, of the adventures we had, of our unlikely yet heartfelt friendship. Yes, I'd sit there, thoroughly contented, and wait for you to ascend the throne.
Wow, okay. Oh, your head and said it's been an honour travelling with him.
I know.
A mischievous smile.
But I do have to add, likewise.
Red Prince.
About power, I mean. I was always kidding myself that I could only help my people if I were free. Lead them by example, you know. The thing is, I can never be free. I've taken their queen from them. So I must choose the dwarven people's liberty in exchange for my own. I know you'll have my back when I return to them, just like I've got yours.
Bow deeply and promise you will choose wisely as befits his people.
Beast bows in return. There's no denying the glint in his eye. Whatever the future holds, he is game for it.
Well then, this is, as they say, it. I never dreamed that after all this, I would be standing here with one of your kind, let alone that I would be proud to do so. I cannot imagine someone I would trust more with divinity, including myself.
Humbly bow your head, you will do your best.
Fane lays a bony hand on your shoulder, squeezing gently.
Do you know, I believe you will.
Yes. Is it? I can hardly believe it.
She casts her gaze around the crypt in awe.
After everything we've been through, after everything we've seen, here we are. Here I am. And now that I see godhood before me, I know what I have to do. Chief, you need to ascend. There's no one I would trust with this responsibility but you. I know you'll do what needs to be done, what ought to be done. And I know you'll do it with style.
Tell you won't fail her.
Hell, I could have told you that. You'll do great. By me and by my whole realm. I don't doubt that for a second. Now go on, shoo. You've got business to attend to.
Listen, this is it. Again. And I want you to know I'm not putting up a fight, not against you. My revels are now ended. Yours. I've had my vengeance. My life and my liberty. You helped me win them back. And then, when we made love, all of me awoke.
Ooh.
All I want now is for this to end. To be by your side when we wage the final battle. And long, long after.
There will be a long, long after you swear it.
I know there will. Now kiss me.
God.
You kiss each other passionately.
Okay.
And you face the darkest dark. You think back on your journey here, on all that you have seen and done. You think of the Magisters and the sorcerers they hunted, and of the good and the evil on both sides. You think of how the Eternals came as Voidwoken to reclaim their stolen world. You look at the source around you. The power is immense. Divinity at your fingertips. You think of what you could do with such power. The rights you'd wrong, the wars you'd win. You marvel at your journey and how it has changed you. You think of those you left behind, and of those you met along the way, who stood by you or against you. It's time to choose your fate, and the fate of all you hold dear. What shall it be? Shall you be divine?
Of course. Take a deep breath, then claim divinity.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aetheran lies in front of you. Divinity is yours to take.
Before I finish this conversation off, I must say that last fight was obscene. I spent probably, 5 hours on that last fight. I even did one more in between the streams and this recording that I failed at again. This is the first time I've succeeded, so I'm keeping this. So it won't be on Steam, but it will be on YouTube. Yes, it was obscene. It had no right to be that hard. I hadn't struggled that much in any fight throughout the game. That was ridiculous. Right, rant over. Continue.
Or to sacrifice. What you do next decides your own fate and the future of the world. What shall you do with divinity?
Yeah, I'm not giving it to everybody, because if you give it to everybody, then there's always certain people that will take advantage of it or use it for evil. I will take it for myself. At least I've got control of it then.
So it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken.
Let's see what story we've got then.
A new divine rose, a true heir to the Seven, more powerful than ever, and united Rivellon in its battle against the Void. All across the realm he was loved, worshipped and adored. Humans, lizards, elves and dwarves all rallied to his banner. The great allegiance stood once more, but the war continued. From the depths of the void, the God King still sought to return. As for me, my last hope of ever being freed of the God King's terrible tyranny faded when the Godwoken claimed divinity. An eternity of pain and suffering is mine.
Oh.
I cling now to the dream that one day the veil will be sealed, that one day I can be freed, that one day a new Godwoken will rise.
Oh, okay. We're doing this then. I'll speak to Melody first.
Melody stands tall and proud, sunlight sparkling off her mask. From here she looks almost angelic.
Well, here we are again. You, me, and the ship I've saved from ruin for your personal benefit. I'd say you owe me, but why state the obvious? Get an eyeful, Your Holiness. I expect it's the last we'll see of each other for some time.
She turns to you, arms crossed, and grins.
Look at you. Magnificent.
Tell her that none of this would be impossible without her.
Don't I know it? Let's hope it pays off.
She fingers the mask covering her face. For a moment, it seems as though she's about to remove it, but instead, she places a hand on your shoulder.
We've come a long way together. I did my best by you all the way. I sacrificed much. I'd give even more to see you become exactly what you've become. Soon, I'd like to have a little chat about something you can do for me. But I believe that can wait. Relax.
Okay.
Enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same.
That's where she plans to go.
Oh, I don't know. Around and about. Treat myself to some mead, a lover or 300.
A lover 300.
And when the time comes, I'll come find you. Your Holiness.
Okay then. As we'll do the last level up. Oh, strength can't be leveled up anymore. There we go. And what should we do the last one in? There we go. Red Prince.
Well, well. Look what the cat dragged in. A god, no less.
He smiles at you fondly as he takes you by the hand.
You've done us proud. You saved the world, didn't you?
So you didn't save it alone.
We were all of us instrumental, but only one walked away with divinity. I'm glad it was you.
Ask if there's anywhere he'd like the Lady Vengeance to bring into.
Oh, if you don't mind. After all, I've dragons to raise. I need to teach them to be good boys and girls before they set the entire world on fire. There may be an accident or two along the way. Please don't hold it against them.
Okay.
I so long to see my palace again. The Forbidden City. The sense of spices and incense. The sound of sitars in far-off rooms. To sit all day in perfumed shade and watch the white of the marble change with the journey of the sun. But above all, I long to be with Sadher. Long to finally have the time to love.
Wishing the brightest of futures.
Oh, but before you go, remember how when we first met, I took you by the jaw to inspect your teeth?
So you've no remembrance of any such occurrence?
Is that so? It must have been someone else. Had you partaken in my little questionnaire, I'd have assessed
Oh yes, we did, yes.
sense and regard for personal hygiene. I don't think I'm stretching any hypothetical truths when I assume I'd found you lacking in every department. Still, I'm nothing if not a tolerant man who believes in individual growth. I'm sure the journey taught you much. As such, I'd like to offer you what was denied to you before. The opportunity to become my slave. What say you?
You know what? That sounds absolutely wonderful.
That's settled then. You're very welcome to my house indeed. We'll feast and reminisce. But in the meantime, my boots are not going to clean themselves.
Nice. Okay. Jahan.
You escaped an abominable prison and confronted the king of all gods, only in turn to confront divinity itself. A rather poetic arc, don't you think? Not that your story is finished, of course. Your divinity shines upon all who walk Rivellon. And there will be those that escape to the shadows. You must be ready to face them, whenever they might emerge.
Wonder what Jahan might be up to next.
Now that I am clear of mind and free of intruders, I'm wondering if it isn't time to share my learnings with the less enlightened. And to that end, I have a few ideas worth considering. Once I've come to a conclusion, I promise you'll be the first to know.
Ask if he has any advice for the new divine.
As a matter of fact, yes. source makes for an excellent ally in matters of a demonic nature. Not only can void seep through the veil, but the beasts of Nemesis might similarly slip out of their own plane. Whether you are clever enough of a divine to keep Damien's disciples confined to Nemesis, I can't say. But I think we'll know soon enough. And I suggest you be ready.
Wish you hand well. I'll be on your way.
Till we meet again, Ifan.
Oh. Phoenix hatchling.
The flaming hatchling bounces and cheeps out of sheer excitement.
Daddy! Daddy! Looky at me!
It takes you a moment to realize the egg you've been carrying has hatched at long last. The chick trills contentedly and flaps its tiny feathers in recognition of its proud parent. It seems you've got a new mouth to feed.
Daddy!
Okay, that was a good outcome. I like that.
I've never been fond of what the Divine stands for, but I must say, it's rather exciting to say I've been up close and personal with one.
Remotely hope that she's reformed her ways of winning back her freedom.
Reform my ways? How adorable. No, I'm afraid I cannot escape who I am and what I've done.
Her eyes flick down to your mouth. She smiles coyly, then slinks forward to kiss you. Her mouth meets yours and devours you with predatory abandon. Somewhere in the recesses of your mind, you think you hear her voice sigh, "mine." But then the kiss ends.
Something to remember me by, darling.
That's what's next for her.
Who knows? A nice cottage someplace quiet for Mahali and I. A roaring fire and a feather bed. Maybe. Maybe. But a girl needs some fun, doesn't she?
She's incorrigible. Oh, sir.
Oh my, you! Look who it is! Our brand new Lord and Saviour.
She curtsies low and looks up at you with a grin.
So, what's your first order of business? End world hunger? Instigate world peace? Send all spiders back to hell where they belong?
Ask how she feels to be free once and for all, with all that haunted her.
I don't know if anyone's free of anything, once and for all. But I'm bloody thrilled to be here now. Just me, myself, and you, of course.
Tell his man to start rebuilding what the void destroyed.
Big job. I'd offer to help, but I've got some business of my own to attend to.
Okay, elaborate.
Get loot, play loot, get glad. So, Chief, I guess this is it, right?
So you guess so, but you won't forget her. Not ever.
Her face softens.
You know, I won't forget you either. Not ever. It's not every day you fall in love with a future god, after all. You'll ace it. I'm sure of that.
As she turns from you, the whites of her eyes darken, the veins in her face go grey, and a wicked smile curls her mouth. Suddenly it's gone again. She winks, and you're left wondering whether you saw anything at all.
Oh no.
See you around.
Okay then. Sybil.
There you are. I was hoping you'd come find us again. I've never known a god before they became divine. I was curious if it would have changed you.
She gives you a long, assessing look, but makes no immediate comment.
So you don't feel changed at all?
She paces around you like a cat, looking you over.
Well, you certainly look the same. But there's something in the air around you. It vibrates ever so slightly. There's magic in it. Power. Don't you feel it?
So you do, but you feel unchanged in your soul and mind.
Maybe you should give it a bit of time. I imagine it takes almighty power a little while to settle in.
That's what she'll do now.
She looks around at the blue skies and seas, smiling.
Whatever I like, my life is mine now.
She puts a hand lightly on your shoulder and pulls you toward her.
We have shared times both good and bad. Times beautiful and ugly. I won't forget them. Not for anything. I have no doubt you will do good by our realm. I can't wait to see it.
Okay, Gareth.
Amazing I'm still here. That we're still here. That Lucian... Well, that relationship always was complicated, wasn't it? You're so much like him. My instincts tell me to kneel to the new divine. I've done so before, after all. But I can't drive myself to do it again.
Not in understanding. You don't want unquestioned devotion. You want a friend.
Gareth beams. For the first time, he is his own man. Yet his enthusiasm is not a man's, but a child's.
A friend, yes. That I know how to be.
For a moment, his mind wanders to memories of friends and enemies, of malady and magisters, of demons and divinity. He is then in the present once more, and smiles at you.
Friends.
So what happens next for him?
I find a way to fit. I wasn't just content to lurk in Lucian's shadow. I was his shadow. Now I stand in the sun as my own man. I just don't know who that man is. And so I find out. My goal is to have a goal. If that makes sense at all. And if it doesn't, well, that's all I've got.
And Sir Laura.
Well, well, Quirkers. Look who finally graced us with their presence. I suppose some thanks are in order.
Smile telling his welcome wasn't easy, but you made it.
No, you should be thanking me. I just saved the world from the great Xorn. You're welcome, by the way. Honestly, some creatures have no sense of perspective.
I would thank the squirrel for his service.
A grin slowly spreads across the squirrel's small face.
Of course, had you not stopped this God King and his lackeys, there would have been very little left for me to save. So?
The cat moves forward, twisting around your legs and filling the air with the sound of dry, dusty purring.
Ah, Quirkers! Please, have a little decorum.
Laugh and tell Sir Laura had been through a lot. He should relax.
This battle is won, my friend, but we still have a war to fight. We've undone the great Xorn, but the Knights of Dre are still out there. They summoned the great Xorn once. They will be able to summon it again. We have to destroy their order, once and for all. That is the future Quirkers and I have ahead of us. We no longer need a shield, but we are very happy to have a friend.
Ruffle Sir Laura's fur. Big softy.
The squirrel tenses for half a moment before relaxing into your fingers.
Ah! Oh, hi. Well, you never told me it felt good. Well, that was certainly an experience. Of course, this has all been something of an experience, eh?
Small and agree, he never dreamed he'd end up here.
I don't suppose any of us did. I never thought I would be proud to have befriended a giant. But there is no one Ow! Quirkers! There is no one that we would rather have walked this world with. I do not know what comes next for you, but you will always have a friend in the forest. Come, Quirkers. We must... Oh, I think you have something in your eye, my friend.
The cat curls up and snuggles into his squirrel friend, who quietly sits and sniffs on the deck.
Oh, Tarquin.
Well, if it isn't the new divine gracing me with his presence. How honored I am.
Ask him what he'll do now.
Is the question, isn't it? How does one top the greatest feat of necromancy ever conceived? I might have the answer to that. Tell me, have you ever heard of Gustafsson? No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language, unreadable to most, but myself naturally. It comes from a mysterious race from another world. Beings that feed on minds. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard portals to their realm. And once I've uncovered one, well, why settle for being the greatest mind in just one world? And there's another for the taking.
Okay, take your leave. I'm not going to tell him off. Oh, beast, up there.
Beast brushes detritus from his beard, sand, skin, and whatever else might have accumulated there. He takes a deep breath when he sees you.
I know it's the same old sea breeze I've always smelled, but it's different now. I don't know how to explain. Maybe you do, O Divine One.
Everything feels the same to you.
I don't know how you can be so, what's the word, nonchalant? You're not free anymore. You belong to Rivellon now.
Beast begins to chuckle, then guffaw, and soon he is laughing as heartily as you've ever known him to.
That might be the most dramatic thing I've said in ages.
The laugh fades away, and the concerns of a kingdom and beyond pass between the two of you.
Ask if he's excited for what comes next.
That's what I should be asking you. I'll find ways to excite myself. Always do. First I go back to the kingdom. The queen is dead and the court will be in tatters. I've got to find out what needs done and get to doing it.
I'm so glad we got all the 4 seasons, all the 4 armor sets. So glad about that.
Something tells me it's all going to be okay.
He winks and begins to sing.
You hear the wild beast just sails on the ocean. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. Off on the yawn, you hear the commotion. He's docked in the bay and coming your way. The cupboard can't hide you, nor can your berth. His daggers don't care about the gold that you're worth. He'll bury your bones neath a mountain of earth. He's docked in the bay and coming your way.
He pauses, then continues to hum, all the while working his whiskers.
We missing anybody? Dunamira, Jan, Melody, Sorora, Beast. I think we're done. Not quite sure what we do next. I think we speak to the figurehead. It's been a long time since I finished this game. Who's that? Oh, Fane. I forgot about Fane. Oops.
Fane is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He leaves through it slowly, muttering to himself.
Interesting.
His eyes stay fixed on the book as you approach.
Lean in, grab a sleeve and examine it between your 2 fingers.
Yes, I see. It is rather annoying. You have my apologies. The next time I meet you in the guts of a slaving ship, I shall keep my hands to myself.
Fane looks up, his gaze carefully drinking you in.
Fascinating. The power of my people. The power of the Veiled. All in one delicate mortal shell. Who could have imagined?
I admit it feels a little strange.
The powers of the universe rushing through your body and you feel strange? Heavens no.
The skeleton looks back to the book. You can feel the grief radiating from him.
I can't help thinking that I could have saved them. That I could have done something.
Ask Fane how he feels about his people after everything that's happened.
I could have done more. so perhaps could they?
Mm-hmm.
Had they decided to live in peace with the mortals of Rivellon, maybe we could have saved them.
Very true.
They made their choices, and I made mine.
You're not telling that you're sorry. You wish could have saved them.
You could have saved them, but you didn't. You made your choice. Don't misunderstand. I made my choice too. That doesn't mean I cannot mourn them, though. They deserve that much.
He's in pain, you can feel it, but you can also feel great potential future that lies ahead.
The skeleton hefts Hubert's dog-eared encyclopedia, its weight heavy in his hands.
Thank you.
I've been rereading this book, looking over your history once again, poring over every detail with a new perspective, and do you know what? It's shit.
Thane tosses the book over his shoulder. It flutters in the air as it sails over the ship's railing and disappears with a faint splash.
If you have spent your life staring at a thing, you can write about it with knowledge. You can write about it with love. But it is almost impossible to write about it with wonder. You creatures have spent your lives trudging about this world, and you've grown blind to its miracles.
Suppose he's right.
Otters, for example. Energetic, waterproof cats, utterly beautiful creatures. Or octopuses. Did you know they're secretly octopuses? Octopi? Octopods. I shall have to look that up. Regardless, the world is filled with absolutely incredible sights. And who better to catalogue them with the awe they deserve than someone seeing them for the first time?
So you can't imagine anyone better for the job.
You know, there is the idea that nothing is ever truly created or destroyed. I suppose we are all Source, just in different forms. You being the cruder, less jewel-encrusted form, naturally. But my people were Source too, although we didn't know it at the time. And our Source helped create you. In a way, I was walking alongside the best version of them the entire time. In you, I found a home better than the one I was pining for. Thank you, Godwoken.
Very welcome. And ship.
It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be whole again.
Remark is good to see the Lady Vengeance being a dependable ally.
I will always be an ally to those that carry Source, to those whose blood is of the heroes of old. And so, as always, I am at the ready.
Not silently, it's time to depart.
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, something is different. You are different. And with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and another chapter begins.
Oh, nice.
War raged on. Arx remained the center of power as the races united behind the Divine. But the Voidwoken attacks continued as they did elsewhere. Arx would see many more long years of war. The ancient empire of lizards became one of the pillars of the new Divine Alliance. The houses of war and of shadows were particularly useful in the fight against the God King. The Empire used the war to expand its territory. With Lucian gone, the elves reluctantly rejoined the Divine Alliance. Their place in the war on the Void would entirely depend on the integrity of the new Divine. And on the integrity of the elven Godwoken who did not ascend. And here and there, across the world, what was left of the Black Ring fought on. The island of Fort Joy remained a sorcerer's paradise, a place of exile for those whose sorcery threatened to bring in the Void. For their well-being, its residents depended entirely on the benevolence of the new Divine. Reaper's Coast struggled on. The farms and the fisheries fought to feed the people against the Voidwoken blight. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood teetered on the edge of starvation until the night the Voidwoken came from the sea. All were killed. This did, however, put an end to the famine.
Well, that's not good news.
The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with ongoing war, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han grew up a warrior and became one of the Alliance's greatest generals. But even he could not win the war. Almira and Mihaili settled in an abandoned homestead. The locals liked and respected Almira. She never wanted for help, and deals always fell to her favor. Outsiders were often suspicious, but no local would speak against her. With a new divine at the helm, Malady had a powerful ally, but she was in no hurry to call in her favor. After all, it might be the last thing she ever did. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. Ahu the wizard served the new divine with honor, wisdom, and an at times unnerving feline elegance. The undead priestess Gratiana remained in her sanctuary, happy to wait for the war to pass. She was troubled only by the silence of her goddess. Jehan the demon hunter never stopped hunting for demons. Sahala sought to strengthen the Elven alliance with the new divine. Her powers of sight proved useful in the ongoing war against the Void, but she could never be sure that the new divine trusted her. Tova, her mother, was Sahala's most trusted warrior. The Beast of the Sea returned to the Dwarven Kingdom to lead the dwarves in the fight against the Void. After a series of public blunders, Marcus eschewed political power and returned to the sea. The Beast and the Lady Vengeance sail on. Fane travelled Rivellon, notebook in hand, recording the wonders he discovered. He kept a socket peeled for signs of the Eternals, hoping to find the wife he had lost. He's still looking. Sabine wandered the world. She became a household name, famed the realm over as a traveling hero, celebrated wherever she went. Enjoying life to the fullest, she was truly and finally free. On his return to the Empire, the Red Prince was hailed a hero. He married Sada, and they had many more dragons. Soon, the prince became the Emperor. Faced with dragons, the Void did not gain the upper hand in the Empire. Losa returned to her music and enjoyed a storied career as the Divine's premier musician. Dark moods would still overtake her, and she would spend long hours walking in the wilds. She always returned with a new song. And then there was you. You, Ifan Ben Mesd, the Silver Claw, the Redeemed Divine. What did you do with your power? What kind of divine were you as the world battled on? Did you show mercy or strength? Did you sacrifice others as Lucian had done? Did you regret becoming divine? Did you wish you'd surrendered the power that runs through your veins and sealed the veil? Only you know the truth. Only you know if you atone for your sins.
What sins? Oh, very good. Very pleased we finished it. I didn't think I was going to at one point. With all those multiple tries that we had at the last battle. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all very soon. This is Olgrey, signing off.